Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm VOT, and this is 10-minute testing. For years, the good names of whales have been ruined, only to be associated with spending an unhealthy amount of money on mobile games hoping to pull a random JPEG. But no more! Whamon is here to show they're just as good at being financially responsible and great at building whiteboards. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. With that, let's dive into Whamon. Whamon has been featured throughout Digimon's lifetime, but most heavily featured in the original Digimon Adventure and its reboot. For the longest time, its only claim to remote relevancy was being a fun trivia question where Whamon's champion form was literally just Whamon but smaller. But now, Whamon is the centerpiece of a fun source aggression deck playing out many of its Digivolution cards to create a whiteboard and gain value off on-play effects. Unfortunately, Whamon is introduced in possibly the worst format for that, where blue hybrids will just stun your sourceless board and gain 1,000,000 memory off of Sora Joe. Ideally, you will generate a wide board gaining value off of on-play draw effects and threaten lethal next turn, or finish the game through unsuspend effects like Garurumon. Now, let's take a look at the card by card. Whamon on play lets you play one level 3 Digimon card from one of your sources as another Digimon without paying its memory cost, and if you do, you may place one blue Digimon card from your hand at the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. This is one of the centerpieces of the deck that lets you go wide with your board, combo, and put important sources underneath your Digimon. It's often played with King Whamon. Whamon lets you play one level 3 Digimon card or one Whamon from this Digimon's sources as another Digimon without paying its cost, and then also when you play one of your Digimon from your sources, you can return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its hand. Unfortunately, 4 is a pretty steep cost, which is why we run 4 Hammer Sparks, but it is better than straight up playing Whamon for its full 8 on play cost. One attack from King Whamon gets you a Whamon plus a level 3 and any synergy of the on-play effects from that level 3, getting you quite a bit of advantage and field presence. Bokumon directly supports the deck by giving you 1 memory when a Digimon is played from Digivolution sources. We need this to reduce some of the quite expensive effects in this deck. For our rookie lineup, we start with Gabumon, who has on-play trigger draw 1. This is important synergy for the deck by helping you keep up in hand advantage. We have Syakomon, which stops your opponent from reducing Digivolution cost. This is important in a hybrid dominant meta to stop your opponent from digivolving into a level 5 hybrid for only 1 cost, which is great, huge momentum for them. Similar principle, we have 3 of Madoki Betamons. They stop your opponent from gaining memory except through tamer effects. So in blue mirrors, this stops your opponent from hammer sparking, or yellow hybrids from playing Blinding Ray, which is very important in this meta. After that, we have Gomon, who is on play when played from Digivolution cards, draw 2. This is simply a better Gabumon made to synergize more with the archetype, really important to keep up the hand advantage. After him, there is Whamon, who has the inheritable once per turn when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. This synergizes with our first champion we have, which is Garurumon. On play, unsuspend one of your Digimon. If Whamon is still in the stack when this effect from Garurumon goes off, you actually now plus off of the free play of Garurumon. Whamon and King Whamon can however only play level 3s or Whamon itself, so we have our backup mega, which is Leopardmon. Leopardmon is a 2-off to fall back on in case we can't see the Whamon. He is 4 to digivolve into, and when digivolving, you may play one level 4 lower Digivolution card from one of your Digimons as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. Your turn, all of your level 4 or lower Digimon gain jamming. He has great synergy by also letting us play sources that King Whamon and Whamon cannot, mainly level 4s. That is where the synergy with Garurumon and Korjamon comes into play. Having jamming lets us be that little bit more aggressive, which is fantastic in this fast meta. Kuomon is simply a Digimon that can digivolve over a hybrid for surprise lethal, which is important to keep pace in this meta. He also has the added bonus of trashing one Digivolution card, which doesn't hurt to get rid of an important inheritable from your opponent, which is why we choose to run it over Lobomon when all we want is just hybrid for game. Next up, we got 4 Korjamons. Security, end of the battle, play this card without paying its memory cost, and then also on play trigger draw 2. We want to run 4 of this, so hopefully it can end up in security and get us that free draw, and even if it doesn't, we get to play it for free off of Leopardmon. Starting our ultimate lineup, it is Zudomon, 3 to digivolve into, on play trigger draw 2, and then when attacking an inheritable, if your opponent has the Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, gain 1 memory. So there's a tiny bit of synergy with Kuomon there, but in this meta of BT7, many rookies will be played just to get their on-play values, so you will likely have sourceless Digimon to trigger that inheritable. That finishes up our Digimon portion. We now move on to the options. We have a 1 of Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave is 7 to play. Main, choose up to 2 Digimon cards in the Digivolution cards of one of your Digimon and play them as other Digimon without paying their memory cost. And then security effect activates card's main effect. This can be momentum swinging coming out of security, and this synergizes with the other cards that we can't play off of either Whamon or Leopardmon's effects, namely Zudomon getting that draw 2. We have 1 of Ice Wall because this card is stupid, and however much the ban list lets us run of it, we will run. Main, all of your opponent's Digimon gain when attacking lose 2 memory, but basically this card says here's 1 more turn to win the game. And then security, gain 2 memory is a 5th Hammer Spark, which is insane. 4 Hammer Sparks because this is literally free to play, free 1 memory, and we have a lot of high cost Digivolution like Whamon and Leopardmon both being 4 costs, so we want to reduce that as much as we humanly can. And finally, to round up our god tier, wife-satisfying, meta-defining list, we have 3 Davis. Davis is 4 to play and says at the start of your turn, if you have 2 memory or less, set your memory to 3. A very important threshold that we want to hit so we can evolve into certain Digimon without passing turn. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue Digimon card and 1 green Digimon card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Fantastic, because we need more search to get to our pieces in case we are not saying Whamon or King Whamon, and Security Effect plays it for free, which is very huge in certain situations when your opponent is trying to choke you and now they suddenly have to play around Davis. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first opponent is going to be D Brigade, which somehow always insists on being rogue tier every meta. We opened the perfect evolution line curve, so we've already defeated Whamon's first big opponent, itself. We Digivolve into Gomon, and then we Digivolve up into Quadramon, so we have a great King Whamon synergy stack right now, since those both draw at least 1 card when played. We're going to go ahead and Digivolve into Whamon, passing them for 3 memory. They will push out of the breeding area. Now having 2 Commandramons on field, they will swing at security, chipping 1, 4,000 DP, so that Commandramon will be deleted. They next play Pride Memory Boost, and off of the Pride Memory Boost, they are going to grab off the top. They grab a Chumon, so that Chumon will be a bad for our matchup because we are playing blue, and blue does want to use those Hammer Sparks to be able to not pass turn when Digivolving into certain Digimon. So we're going to have to answer that. We're going to Digivolve into King Whamon. That is 4 memory, so that will put him at 3, unfortunately, putting us quite far behind as he starts to build up a board. He Digivolves in the breeding area. He then plays a Hagurumon, letting him draw 2, discard 1, which is great hand cycling, and letting him fill up his trash for his D Brigade Digimon. He plays the 3-cost Commandramon, putting us at 3, so we will drop return to start off our turn. We will now move out of the breeding area into the battle area to start getting some when attacking shenanigans off. When attacking King Whamon lets us play Whamon from its sources. Whamon then lets us play a level 3 from its sources. From any of our Digimon sources, we play the Gomon, which lets us draw 1. Next, we get to put Zudomon underneath it with Whamon's effect. Unfortunately, we do not get to gain a memory off the Bukomon as I just attempted because of Chumon blocking it. So what we do instead is we activate King Whamon's Your Turn effect to bounce to level 4 or lower. Then we choose to activate Bukomon. So that will let us draw the memory in that order. Unfortunately, reveal 11,000 DP Digimon, deleting our King Whamon, which is quite a waste. We just put a Zudomon underneath it that'll plus us memory as long as that Digimon is swinging every turn. So we went ahead and played the Bukomon, the Madoki Betamon, so make sure he doesn't get value off of that memory boost. He swings, and off the top, we grab the Leopardmon. That Davis will be huge by letting us not get memory choked anymore, which the Brigade is quite efficient at doing with his 2-cost Digimon in there. He swings with the other Commandramon that has an on-deletion effect. It is deleted, revealing Garurumon in security, so it does get its effect off. It gets to reveal the top, and it will play the blocker Commandramon off of that. The rest of the cards go to the bottom of the deck, so he has a very wide board here. We are only at 2 security, so we either need to delete all of these Digimon or be able to strip away all their security quickly. They are going to pass turn by... We are going to 3 anyway, so instead of attempting to choke us at 1 memory with their 2-cost Digivolution, they're going to play their Tamer instead to gain value off of that quite wide board. And if we delete their Digimon, which we have to do to answer the board and keep lethal off for another turn, they're going to be able to draw off of that Tamer's Suspend effect. King Whamon swung. Unfortunately, we don't have any good way to clear a board here. We're going to go ahead and Digivolve up into the Commandramon. Then we will swing with Gabumon. Unfortunately, Gabumon reveals Iron Fisted Onslaught, which deletes all the highest play cost Digimon on the field. Luckily for us, it's not a huge board wipe since we do have the Whamon out on the field. That Whamon would have been useful to go into King Whamon, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be living another turn unless we're able to answer this. We keep swinging, hope that he'll block with one of them, and then be able to swing over that one, and then stave off lethal. But unfortunately, they do not take the bait. They go ahead and let all the swings through, still leaving them at 1 memory, and now they are able to swing over a Madoki Betamon if they want to be able to use a memory boost, and they will simply be able to go into Darkshamon for game. They swing over a Madoki Betamon, so they are able to pop those memory boosts later. They will then swing with Commandramon, revealing another Davis, and off the top, we grab King Whamon. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be mattering. We hit the 3rd Davis somehow in security. I do not understand how that happened 3 back-to-back, but unfortunately, this was not our meta, and it's still lost. Our next opponent is going to be Icemon Rush, and as we just saw from D Brigade, a Rush down deck is not a good matchup for Whamon because of its high Digivolution cost. We will Digivolve up to Quadramon, putting our opponent at 2 memory. They will Digivolve all the way up into Ogremon, and then pass us 2 memory with their starter deck mat, which lets them gain 1 memory when one of their Digimon is deleted. We are at a nice threshold here for just Digivolving for 3 and putting them at 1 memory, choking them. They will move out of Raising Area, attack with Ogremon, and its when attacking effect lets them discard 1 card to gain security attack +1. Luckily, we revealed King Whamon, which lets them die on the first check, not letting them get the second check. They do suspend the mat to be able to gain that memory off it, and they will only put us at 2 memory despite hardcasting a champion, Icemon Scatter Mode. It is our turn now with 2 memory. We'll, however, go into Hammer Spark to keep choking them at 1 memory because this deck thrives off of its Darkness Claws and all those kind of options, so we want to force them to have it and spend that memory instead of dying into security. So they do not die into security, revealing the Davis. And after that, we will grab the Whamon. Then we go ahead and force them to use their Darkness Claw. That will let them destroy the Scatterball, draw 3, trash 2, get the 2 Icemons for free off of its effect. When trashed by your own effect, lets it play itself for free. They will then Digivolve into Promote and swing off of that because it has Rush, and then we will be at 2 memory to start our turn. We'll go ahead and start at 3 memory to start our turn because of Davis. We'll go ahead and swing with Whamon. Whamon's when attacking effect lets us play King Whamon's when attacking effect lets us play Whamon. Whamon lets us play a Gomon, lets us draw. Then our your turn effect lets us return their Promote so we can stave off lethal a little bit longer. Unfortunately, because of all these memory costs, we can't start swinging. We had to clear the board, so we can't start chipping away at the security just yet. You're going to go ahead out and swing the Icemon Scatterbolt. It does not die, or rather it does die off of Whamon, so they do get to draw 3, trash 2, they do get the 1 Icemon, and then the Promote to attack with Rush. That does delete it, so they are at 1 memory. They go ahead and play the Gazimon, which is unfortunate to shut off our Hammer Sparks, but we have only 4 checks here, unfortunately, and even if we had a hybrid, it'd only be 5, so we need a way to be able to get rid of this Gazimon. Unfortunately, King Whamon only lets you play a level 3 or a Whamon from its sources, which we have none of currently in its stack, so we have no way to get rid of this Gazimon, and we need to be able to get just 1 more turn. So we're going to do the ultimate combo of Whamon. We're going to Digivolve for 2, and then we are going to scoop because we don't draw what we need. And now it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 against meta. We're going to be playing against yellow-purple hybrids, which is arguably the second best deck next to blue hybrids itself, which took huge tops at Digifest. Our opponent starts off by hatching their purple egg, playing Zoe, grabbing a Zephyr, and then we'll Digivolve, or rather hard play, the Gomon, because we unfortunately did not see a rookie to open with, which is unfortunate. We do at least top deck the rookie now. Our opponent plays down a Zoe with the 3 that we gave them, and another TK, so they're getting a wide board of Tamers, which could potentially become hybrids to swing at us for game. They grab another Zephyr that is going to go into their hand, and they're going to start us with a generous 4 memory. We finally do see that rookie as mentioned earlier, so we're going to go ahead and Digivolve into that. Then we'll Digivolve for 2 into Gomon, putting us at 2 since we are at 2 memory. Before you play the Davis, make sure you swing. We reveal the set for now, so thank goodness. And off the top, we grab Icemon because that will help us reduce their Zephyrmon, stop their Jet Selfie-mon from being reduced if they Digivolve over the Zephyrmons that we saw earlier. It was really good we did that chip earlier to get that Schwartz out of the way to stop from blowing up our entire board. They will Digivolve into the Zephyr, that'll swing, it'll live, but it does now have the effect plus 3000 DP for Digivolving to all of their security Digimon, and the inheritable from Zoe, another plus 3000. So if we swing, anything will probably die because they get all plus 6000 DP in security. So we're just going to go ahead and play down the Gomon to draw us 1, hopefully to unbreak this hand. And then we're going to go ahead and go into Icemon for 1 to stop again the Jet Selfie that might come out and make them have to pay the full 3 costs. They swing with the Zephyr, living yet again, which is unfortunate for us, and they go into another Zephyr for only 2. Swing, this one is deleted off of the Leopardmon. They do have the Gazimon out of raising, so that shuts off our Hammer Sparks. They seem to swing with it, however, and that will delete it. But they now get to draw 1, discard 1 off of the Demi-Miramon inheritable from their egg. They are at 1 memory, so they could still potentially choke us, but we have Davis out on the field, so we will be going to 3 anyways. We have a champion, we have our ultimate, and we do have the King Whamon, so while we don't have Whamon itself, we have a level 2 climb. They do play the Schwartz, clearing our entire board, so now they don't have to worry about little Icemon stopping their cross reduction anymore, but they gave us 5. Unfortunately, that is, even with the Hammer Spark, not enough to go into Whamon, or rather King Whamon, without passing turn, because that is a 4 cost Digivolution. The 4 cost on all of our top end really hurts this deck's ability to keep up with this fast-paced meta, so instead we're going to Hammer Spark to get that 1 free Ice Wall to start off lethal for another turn, potentially. And then we're going to Digivolve up into our Leopardmon, getting the Madoki Betamon to stop them from Blinding Ray out into lethal. They reveal the Corchamon, letting us draw 2, but again, nothing exactly that we terribly need. We could rather have used another Hammer Spark instead. They are going to play the Death Claw. Death Claw will pop the Zephyr, pop our Corchamon, rather than Madoki Betamon, telling me they're not too concerned about having to go into Blinding Ray. We have no security, so we're going to go ahead and draw for turn to start off our next turn, hatch, and then we do have the free draw off of our rookie. We'll draw off into the Gomon because you want to prioritize something that synergizes better with the on-play. We are going to go ahead and scoop and go to game 2. Unfortunately, we weren't able to keep pace with the King Whamon in this deck against Yerpal because that is a really powerful security that just wipes out everything. They're going to Digivolve into Elecmon and play another Elecmon, so we can't Rookie Rush them. And if they pop their own Elecmons, that'll stop our Syakomons and Madoki Betamons. They're trying to keep momentum up with them. We're going, unfortunately, again, we do not see a ultimate, so we're going to go ahead and hard play the Corchamon to draw us 2. And because draw 2 is so much in this game, we do get to hit, luckily, that Whamon. They are going to head and pop swing into security, getting deleted by the Kumamon in security, which was 4,000. No rookies on our side of the board, so their effect on deletion does not matter. That Elecmon ends up living, which is quite unfortunate. It plays the 1 cost for the Death Claw. That'll go down to 2. They will play the TK that is 2 cost from starter deck to go down to 2, and then it will pass turn, assuming they have nothing else better to play that turn. We're going to go into the battle area, Digivolve into Whamon, putting us at 3. And we're going to go ahead and go into the Leopardmon so we can start drawing for a better second stack. We do now see our champion, so we can start building a second stack off of this. They play the Wyvern's Breath, which is minus 15,000 DP to any Digimon of your choice, and that does delete fortunately, our Leopardmon. That would have given us our level 4s or lower jamming, and now instead, Gomon does not have jamming, so they don't have to worry about answering it if it dies in security again. We Digivolve up into Zudomon in the breeding area, and then we'll go chip before we play the Davis, and we are going to, they do reveal the Zoe. We play the Davis, and off the top, we grab the Whamon, because we need a better ultimate than Zudomon to be able to climb. We go ahead and swing, and that is actually survives insecurity because it has a 1000 DP Digimon, I believe that Vmon is. They go ahead and Digivolve into the Zephyrmon for 2. Then they then Digivolve for only 1 Jitsulfi, putting them back at 5 security. So unfortunately, our Syakomon wasn't able to do any work. We weren't able to get to it in time. They do have the Blending Ray, so Madoki Betamon would have been nice there. They're able to go into the Seraphimon now, which has security attack +1, so it does get the full 2 checks off, putting a lot of pressure now. So even if he does pass turn, I have to get rid of 5 security somehow this turn, or we lose. So we do the powerful combo once again in this deck. We move out of breeding area and we scoop. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, that was rough. Let's go over the pros and cons. First, let's start with the pros. Whamon is able to get a lot of bodies on board and be able to go wide to put a lot of pressure on your opponent's security. This is a strategy that was commonly seen in decks that top various metas like Rookie Rush. You do have some flexibility about what you want to play out, and you have a bit of tech spaces as we see the Madoki Betamon and the Syakomon are text for this meta. As for the cons, they far outweigh it. This is just a terrible meta BT7 for this deck. Yellow Hybrids has Schwartz, which clears basically everything you are ever going to play out of your sources, which validates all the hard work you're putting from playing these things out through King Whamon's when attacking effect. The other absolute best deck in the meta, Blue Hybrids, thrives off of you playing all these sources because they are usually out without a source. They're going to just strip the whatever source you put underneath it with Whamon and then stun it and everything else on your board, making you a sitting duck for lethal. This deck will get farmed by the most popular deck in the meta. It's also just too slow with its incredibly high play cost. King Whamon is 4 cost, and the only other mega that really synergizes well with it, Leopardmon, is also a 4 cost. These prices are death for Digivolution costs. It's just too expensive for what it does into this meta, and unfortunately makes it way too slow. Plus, with very little removal, even if you tech in more removal options like Tidal Breath, you don't have much options to hit tamers that other decks can at least rush out of. Your best bet would be choking them. Overall, this deck is just way too slow, and it's an unfair meta to it. It could get better with new support because there's a really good solid base here, and I think it makes a really great fun pet deck. Often in our gameplay videos, we were just a couple of swings off of lethal, so after all this various testing, I would suggest taking out the Zudomon and putting in 4 of the starter deck Aero Vidramon from the All 4s Vidramon starter deck. It has the inheritable attack, security attack +1 if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, and with how much we draw with our on plays, we will have that much, so you'll often be having that security attack +1, and that extra boost will be that one security attack you were missing for lethal pretty often. This definitely synergizes better than with Zudomon. That is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a ton of fun making it, trying to rush it for the deadline, and I have a TCG player affiliate link in the description below, and if you got a laugh out of this, consider supporting the channel through it. Thank you so much. Happy April Fools. What CMO video should I copy next?